released April 14, 2016 for the PC after a successful Kickstarter campaign by Cameroon developers Cairo Games. Aurion Legacy of the Coriodan is a title I learned about from my second African esports campaign with Empire Arcadia last year. EMP's CEO also included it in a top 5 video games by black developers for Black History Month list, where it received the #1 spot. Thanks to Empire Arcadia for the review code. It's appreciated. Aurion is another indie game that caught my attention for 2 reasons. First, I always thought this was one beautiful game, and second, it's basically made in Africa by Africans. I didn't know much about it. What genre it was, the story, the inspiration, nothing. I just knew it looked great and black people made it. That was enough to spark my interest. The story of Aurion is based on African mythology and follows wife and husband duo Enzo and Erin Coriodan. On the day that Enzo was to be crowned king and wed Erin, his brother-in-law staged a coup. Enzo, being the young and inexperienced prince he is, fought hard alongside his wife to stop said coup, but failed and were exiled from their own kingdom. Now let me pause for a second on this story and say this. Although the truth is, a game is no good without proper gameplay mechanics, and gameplay is paramount. The story presented here in Aurion is what stood out over all else, and is what I'm focusing on first. I will say this without apology. Aurion Legacy of the Coriodan is the deepest, most story-driven game I have ever played. This is a matter of resonance. By the sound of my voice alone, one can tell I've been in this a while, and in all my years of doing this, a game's story has never hit me as hard as this one. The messages here are so profound. Now, at the beginning of most of my reviews, I put up a disclaimer, potential spoilers inbound. That being said, I will still make an attempt to not spoil too much here. But this game addressed some serious points, from an existential point of view to basic everyday life we all experience. It directly and indirectly spoke on things like the importance of teamwork, the importance of a real and true queen, a queen who does her best to stand beside, not behind her king, as strong and powerful as he stands for her and himself. A queen who selflessly stands up when her king has fallen and aids him in battle, regardless the circumstances. A king not being ready to assume his responsibilities. Betrayal, connecting with your lineage, your ancestors, the importance of family, introspection, women empathizing with other women without judgment. Aurion teaches you that the journey to greatness will be a hard one, but will also make you stronger with each step. It hits home on real-world issues such as spousal abuse, rape, blood oaths, slavery, politics, not trusting someone simply because they look like you, labor disputes, false prophets, religious scammers, concubines, and even suicide. Even the banter between the couple was engaging. The things they said to each other, from words of encouragement to petty squabbles involving jealousy. Reminds me of a couple I know, actually. There's so much more I could say about this story, but based on the experience I had with this game, I really don't want to ruin it for others. Aurion has no voice acting. I see where voice acting could have been a great addition, but when I think about it, unless the devs were able to get a sizable budget that would guarantee AAA styled voice acting, it could have compromised the story for me. After playing Aurion, I understand why persons hold firm to the belief that books are better than movies. I never truly accepted that till I played this. Although this game is text heavy and I'm not the biggest fan of reading, I was so captivated by this moving story based on what my imagination came up with for vocal moods and tones. The visuals, beautiful in a dated and indie kind of way. I love the hand-drawn comic book style visuals, with vibrant colors, detailed character designs and animations. The only other thing I could have asked for would be more cinematics. As you make your way through the fantasy world of Aurion, your eyes will be treated with a feast at every turn. Each area looks unique with its own personality, charm and appeal. My only peeve would be similar to what I said about Nanui. Some of the specials were just way too special. Some attacks would completely cover the screen. The music was also a delight. It seems the devs went above and beyond the call to ensure a quality score that held Aurion's authentic African roots together. The sound effects were also well balanced and believable with their cartoon anime style. The game teaches you that Aurion means collected energy, kinda like chi. Chi is exaggerated in games like Street Fighter, where your character uses his internal strength to unleash things like fireballs from the palms of their hands and so on. Well, I'm gathering that what chi is to other cultures is what Aurion is to some African cultures. In the world of Aurion, they use an inner force called legacy, along with their regular physical abilities. These legacy abilities vary between honor, anger, rage, and so on, and are unlocked as you progress through Aurionic awakenings. And utilizing these abilities, combining them through battles, require a level of deep strategy. But once you've spent the time to figure this out, it'll all feel like second nature moving forward. It's just the initial figuring out process that can seem a bit daunting. When you see combos being executed, they may look fluid and seamless, but the actual execution is a bit more complicated than you might think. You fight alongside your wife as well. It starts off with passive abilities like healing, but later down the line, while still acting as support, she starts shooting fireballs and such as well. The overall development process is quite deep and engaging. AAA games are all well and good, but many times, if you'd like a truly unique experience, one off the beaten path, then the indie scene is where you want to be. Show your support for independent game developers. Most, if not all, indie games are priced relatively low. Some are even free with the option to donate, so there's really no reason to pass. Thank you for watching. If you like my content,